Hey everyone, I'm back with yet another Battles 2 video, except this time I'm not ranting about server downtimes. Nope, this is about the 2.1 update and how it is perceived to be the worst update of all time. To be fair, there aren't that many players who participated in that survey, but in general there is only a small portion of the player base who actually goes on Reddit, so it would make sense for that to be the case. The same problem also happens with my Bloons TD 6 update tier lists, and I'd say it's actually a bigger problem in that game due to how much larger that player base is compared to this one. Considering the fact that my latest Battles 2 survey got 26 votes, which is a record for that game, you would think my Bloons TD 6 surveys would easily get over 100 each. Except that's not true. In fact, my Update 38 survey had an even lower turnout than this last round from Battles 2. Comparatively, the update before had 67 votes, which is my high end there. Usually they'd get around 30 each. I could show you more updates, but you get the point. Back to Battles 2 now. Why did this update do so badly? Well, let's just say we don't need more grind. Accolades were an interesting addition to the game, which to a degree had some grind built in. And honestly, the fact that the game finally has some sort of achievement-based system was why that update was actually somewhat good. Okay, it would probably be better if Jericho wasn't added in that same update, but again, as basic as the achievement system was in Battles 1, you would think this game would have at least started out with something similar, but no. So, what was the incentive to play back then? Get all the good upgrades, of course. Remember, Tower XP used to be required to unlock tower upgrades past 200, which was later changed to Tier 2 all across the board, before ultimately being scrapped for only Tower Mastery. So you had to keep grinding to get all the good meta upgrades, and it pretty much required you to be the first one to get them so you could curb stomp everyone else so that they would have to suffer more than that player did to get those same upgrades. Then surrender farming became a trend, and everyone would abuse that to stay out of harm, which was, back then, considered discouraging. Nowadays, trying to do that gets you flagged, which is strange, but there also hasn't been any confirmed reports since 1.10.3, so it could likely be that they have removed this flag since, much like they did in 1.8, where losing 4 times to the same person in a row would also get your account flagged, and this leads you to another detour. In version 1.7, false flagging became very common because the player base continued to shrink. Because of this, it was possible to match up against the same person several times in a row, and as a result, you could get flagged if you lost repeatedly. And it didn't take long for this to start happening. Only 6 hours into that update did images begin circulating throughout Discord with players being flagged. No other update had this within the first couple days of release. There were also several other bugs introduced mainly with Pat Fusty, which don't help at all, and just Fusty himself made the meta very stale, so all those factors combined explain why 1.7 is the second worst update of all time, possibly still the worst for some players, including myself. Now again, here's 2.1, the new contender for the worst update of all time. What makes it that way? Let's see. We have some new special cosmetics that cost a shitload of XP to unlock. In fact, so much XP that those players that have stuck around since day 1 aren't even close to completing. Take Ninjayas, for example, who is widely considered the best Battles 2 player known for his sub-druid farm strats. He has used the druid in 7,000 games, and still does not have enough for Prestige level 5, which is not even the last one according to the game's files. There are 6 Prestige levels in total, and the next level takes twice as long as the current one, starting with 500,000 XP to get Prestige level 2. You start off with Prestige level 1 right out of the gate, after unlocking all the Mastery cosmetics, and that alone takes 415,000 XP to complete. Most players wouldn't even get to unlock Prestige at all. But just how long does it take to get all the Prestige cosmetics? V-Child made a Google Doc showing how much game time it would take to unlock each level under a couple different scenarios. At this point I will be referring to their document about this, and I'll add my thoughts onto this too because I have alluded to this a little bit in the past. I still think that Universal XP being removed from the game was a big mistake, and Ninja Kiwi has also said in the past that Tower XP would also be on the chopping block. However, with this latest update, it seems like Ninja Kiwi has forgotten about all that, though it's not too late for a change. Time to crunch the numbers. Assuming you played the game non-stop, grinding one single tower for XP the entire time from start to finish, and also playing optimally by surrendering at the beginning of round 6 each time. Originally, I was going to resort to V-tries for this, but I decided to crunch the numbers myself. The time period for which surrendering on round 6 gives the best XP yield is actually very generous, as long as your queue time is under 2 minutes. Let's be real though, it won't take 2 minutes to find someone unless you're playing during the bottom of the trough or the servers go down. Matchmaking servers haven't been a problem thankfully, so if you're playing at a time where it would be around 7 AM to 8 AM GMT, then it'll probably take more time to find someone. Anyway, let's assume that the prep time up to the first round is 30 seconds and you've optimized the anti-stall each round up to round 5, at which point you patiently wait for round 6 to start and immediately surrender. It would take 163 seconds in total, which means you'd be able to do this 22 times per hour at this rate and make 8,250 XP. Because of the large amount of games that will be played for this experiment, I purposely chose to leave out any bonuses like reward boosts and daily rewards, since those are negligible. After a little more than 50 hours straight, with no breaks in between, you would have 415,000 XP, which is enough to complete the Mastery cosmetics and unlock Prestige. But that is nothing compared to what is coming up. Oh no, we're just getting started. As I said earlier, Prestige level 2 costs 500,000 XP, and every level after that doubles. And it's not just, oh, you need 8 million XP to unlock all the Prestige cosmetics. No, you start back at 0 every time. So by the time everything is said and done, it would take 80 days to complete everything without any interruptions and amass a total of 15,915,000 XP in the process. Man, this guy needs a Guinness World Record here. And again, this is for one single tower. It would take almost 5 years to do them all. Surely there has to be a faster way, yeah? Well, yes, this isn't the fastest way to gain XP, after all, since here you would lose every single game pretty much. Will the real I Suck at Battles please stand up? But let's just use this as a benchmark, since this is the most consistent way to gain XP, though this can still get your account flagged, so do this at your own risk. If you're able to win matches by round 22 or so, you can gain XP at a faster rate than the method I just mentioned before. But having a 100% win rate for that long is unrealistic, so it may be slower since the later losses would offset the faster XP rate, and there's no easy way to figure it out since it relies more on the prep time to determine which round winning would no longer provide a better XP yield. I made a Google Sheet, the same one you see in the video, which you can find in the video description alongside V-Try's Google Doc. Speaking of which, now I'll take the time to refer to V-Try's Google Doc. As I said at the beginning of the video, we don't need more grind, and I quote, "People will not play Bloons TD Battles 2 forever. We don't have 5 lifetimes to grind prestige content. A reasonable prestige system would at least be interesting to completionists who are currently very unhappy as getting prestige 6 feels unobtainable. Ridiculous requirements do not incentivize players to play more, rather they can be stumbling blocks. Also, since no one has prestige 6 towers, literally everyone will feel inadequate due to their very many games not being deemed enough." Well, to that I say, accolades too are interesting, except at least in that case they brought something new to the table. Monkey Prestige doesn't even do that. It's just the same boring grind with nothing interesting to go with it. Oh, it gives you accolades alright, but what's the long game here? To brag about some shine on your towers? Yeah, now we basically have the equivalent of the silver and gold projectile skins from Bloons TD Battles 1. It's just dumb. It could be possible that clans will add some sort of reward multiplier, much like the hero bonus that the first game has, so that could help speed up the process. So how can we fix this problem? V-Try lays out 3 different options, and of course any combination of the 3 will work just fine. In fact, I'm certainly rooting for the last option in that list since I've been talking about it since pretty much the beginning of time, but I'm still not too convinced that it's the answer. So I'll add a 4th option to this, which would get rid of the tower XP altogether, but I think it would be a far better incentive to actually play the game and experiment with different loadouts. After unlocking all the upgrade tiers for a tower, cosmetics are unlocked after reaching a certain number of games played with any tower, starting with the Mastery ones and then the Prestige ones after. Mastery cosmetics could have only a gradual milestone increase each time, say plus 50 games to get the next one, and then Prestige can keep the more intense scaling. Once you reach Prestige level 15, which would be the last under this system, you would only need to play 7,200 games to unlock all the cosmetics for a single tower. It'll still be a far reach for most, sure, but at least this system would make it obtainable for those who have grinded for as long as they have, because they deserve to have a life outside this game and retire with a nest egg to sit on. This game isn't going to get better anytime soon, is it? Let's hope I'm wrong here.